good one.
That's hilarious. Like, I just said all this stuff.
Live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
So
We are
first-
live. Please continue. I'm
I
gonna go
did
be.
it. It's fine.
I'm gonna go be embarrassed in a corner now.
Hello, for those of you joining on Paro Dice Theater.
Jesus Christ.
Welcome to Monday Night Fire Shrike. We are a
He
mess
can't
here
even talk
tonight.
now.
You might, if you want the full version, you might actually check out Purple Codex's stream. She got the full version, but I will give you a synopsis of what has just happened.
Oh
We
boy.
discussed how pets work in Starfinder, so there's some mechanical stuff there, like questions answered. But otherwise, we set the stage as being on Broken Rock with Shabayan, who has just bought a Dressurka companion, and has just bought a Dressurka companion, and heard that there was a attempt on Captain Zeradin's life. And she has gone to his townhouse to find out what's going on. We drop in to the conversation here between the Drow Elf woman who is the pilot for Zeradin and long-standing crew member, and Shaba Yan outside of the door that presumably Zeradin waits on the other side of, and has asked about is explaining. She asked if Shaba had heard of the house Zimlothi, and Shaba had said no. And the explanation is something like this: House Zimlothi is one of the most insidious drow houses out of Nech Sidara that you could ever want to cross paths with. It's rumored that they had a hand in the fall of at least a couple of drow houses, noble houses, at some point in their past, particularly powerful ones, if I'm not mistaken. But not much has been seen of the Nech. The Nech Sidarans have been more prevalent out there. Some say that they have struck up certain deals with various other drow houses and some forlorn elves, expanding influence and power. A Zimlothi assassin or agent, for anyone to survive an encounter like that, well, there are not many who could. I imagine yourself, your Captain Zai. Ashira is rumored to be unkillable. A few other
Ha!
members of your crew. But outside of that, Pirate Captain Council Lords, maybe a couple of other mercenaries here at Notorious Mercenaries, but and bounty hunters, but the list is not a very long one.
Can I just say something about that?
Yeah.
I like how it's Ashira's unkillable, but it's not. The people who try to kill her suck at killing people. Like.
Well, for all intents and
That's true.
purposes, Cervantes Pilgrim toted your body around for months, showing people your dead body.
Yeah, but it wasn't
And
me.
so, no, it wasn't.
was.
But everybody thought it was.
So
It was.
technically,
It was a genetic
it
match
wasn't
that
me.
only. It was a genetic match that only your people, after the fact, would have known to look for any kind of anomalies. So it passed all tests that it was, for all intents and purposes, the universe thinks you died. You know. Because there was enough like, nope, he proved it. He had her body, and then then
There
suddenly
were
you're back on
your
the
mom
scene.
took a sample.
Yeah, your family.
Okay, I
Exactly.
was about to ask because I couldn't remember if we did anything with my mother for my death.
No,
Yeah,
we didn't.
she
But you
cried.
can assume. But you can assume that there was probably, and she still hasn't broached the subject of your death with you, which probably strikes you as a bit odd. But
Well,
to
now
get,
it does.
to get to the,
Good.
to get to the back of back to the narrative scene,
Yeah.
Yvel kind of looks at Shaba and says, needless to say, they're very good at infiltration, very good at stealth, and very good at killing people. This one has had a bit of a history. As near as we can tell, she seems to have been House Zemlothi's agent in the Pact Worlds for primary agent in the Pact Worlds for some time. And she's kind of says, so, are you ready to lay eyes on your very first Zemlothi assassin?
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
And I think,
Mhm.
God damn it, there it is. Let's see. There we are. And you open the door, and when you open the door, the scene that confronts you, first of all, the room is well decorated. It is a study, and there's a couple of other people in here, like you would assume crew members of Zeratin, members of Zeratin's crew. They very pointedly have guns drawn. There's an orc that is there, and there's a Kasathan. And he himself seems to have his back somewhat to the door, and he seems to be pouring a drink with his like well over the top hat that he's wearing, and what have you. And you see sitting on the couch with those armed guards pointing their guns, sitting on the couch, one nurse Jerktazal. And she's just quietly sitting there, like she notices you come in, but she says nothing. And Zeradin, for his part,
Shoot her in the
like
face.
Zeradin, for his part, turns around and he's like, turns around with a glass and he goes with a couple of glasses and he says, ah, he goes, Captain Yon. And he nods and he takes like one, he takes one glass over to you, and he takes one glass over to Nurse Jerkdazal, and he says, "Now, there's no reason for us to necessarily be uncivil, but I do believe we have something we need to talk about here." And I would
Shaba knocks the drink back. Like the whole
he-
doesn't care what it is.
it's like, yeah, he's just like, and he says, and we'll discuss the matter. And he goes back over. He gets himself a glass and pours it. It's some sort of amber liquor. Um, and he brings it back over and kind of like does that thing where he takes the glass and swirls it a little bit by just basically moving his hand in a circular motion, ice cube sort of clinking in the glass, and he says, "First of all, let me just say, Miss Yon, Captain Yon, no one, and I mean no one, myself included, and nor any other member of the council would fault you for a Zemlothi agent being among your crew. They are rather good at infiltration. This one is named Ovesh. Ovesh here, of House Zemlothi. We can't get anything specific out of her about her mission or what her history is, but we're assuming that she's been around here for a while. I say this because, well, we've uncovered something a little bit disturbing." And he hands you a data pad. Like he reaches over on a shelf, grabs a data pad, walks over and hands it to you. The video should be a bit in the video should be a bit informative.
Oh, she watches it.
And it's like a news clip, and it's like, and today in other news, a medical student, one of the first Formian medical students to take off-world service, was found dead this morning. The remains have been it's the remains have been identified as Jerkdazal, a a resident of, and the report sort of goes on to the details of where Jerkdazal was actually from, who Jerkdazal actually was. That it was really impressive that it was this Formian of all people that had gone to medical school and graduated with honors, and was looking to go out into the world into apprenticeships and internships and learn more, but was found dead. This is a report from Castrovel. So Jerkdazal never left Castrovel, never made it to the sun, never made it to the burning archipelago. Never made. So that would tell you that Jerkdazal was killed quite a long time ago, and it's likely or possible that Murch didn't even know.
He didn't. He only had hunches.
Yep.
Damn it! I was thinking it was Loyalty Zero that did this.
Nope. Nope.
Well, it had to be one or the other, so I had a 50-50 shot.
50-50. Yep. You didn't. You were off this time. But he says, now I'm not going to press questions here because I probably already know the answer, and I don't expect that this one will give up any indication of whether I'm right or wrong. But my guess is that at some point, my family hired her to kill me because if Netsidara is looking to make connections in the Pact worlds, House Zatarn would probably, my mother would probably be amenable to such things, but she'd want something. She'd want something that she couldn't get on her own. My sister's the same. The question would be, was this a deal arranged by my sisters or my mother? Either way, rather impressive. They managed to get a Zimlothi agent sleeping for that long. And Jerkdazal, or Ovesh, as you now know her, is kind of sits there quiet. It just continues to sit there quietly. It's like, clearly, as she has failed, my understanding is she'll be executed if she returns. She'll have to come back with something to show for it.
Shaba
Um,
cracks just a slight smile at that information.
she's got a great number of skills, I would imagine. She did give me a run for for my life, quite literally. And like he like opens his shirt, and you see that there's like scars on his chest, or that there's still healing like injuries and what have you. This one right here, and he kind of like points to his collarbone, would have gotten me in the neck if I'd have been a half a second slower. Meh. Impressive. I'm willing to release her back into your custody, but I would say my recommendation would be, since she can't go back to her own people, it gives you a bit of leverage and potential information. I doubt she'll give it to you willingly under force of interrogation. They're trained for that sort of thing. But perhaps mercy might be enough to convince her to stay, to reassess her objectives and allegiances. And he kind of looks at it, and Zeratin, sort of finishes his drink and goes to refill.
Shaba just walks up to Orvith, looks down at her because she's really low, and backhand her across the face.
Yeah, oops. Yeah, she does not react to it. Like, I mean, obviously, physically, her body like moves. I mean,
Yeah,
but she does not react other than that. Yeah.
yeah,
She kind of turns and looks right back at you directly in your eyes. Like you you can pretty much see no fear there.
you know what I'm capable of. So let's just not mince words. You work for me now, or I take you home.
And she stays silent for a bit longer and maybe like over like your shoulder, like you can sense that like she looks over at Zeradin. Um and I don't know if you look back or not, but Zeradin's probably giving her some sort of gesture like, go on, that's you're really your only path out, kind of gesture, like kind of thing.
Hmm.
And
Shit, I'd make her be a man.
she narrows her eyes. She narrows her eyes and and simply states, I swear it. So you can tell she's not terribly happy about the situation.
Yeah, honestly, if Shaba was in her shoes, she wouldn't be either. But she's
Exactly.
not. She's
Exactly.
controlling the game now.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
And Shaba will hold to her word. She will take her back to her home, whether it's
Mm,
alive or in a body bag.
yeah. She's like, uh, Zeradin kind of says, now that we've dealt with the pleasantries and gotten the civil part of this out of the way, there needs to be paid a price. We can't just have people walking around assaulting members of the council. It wouldn't do. I'm going to say that public lashing, I'd say 10 if she behaves, 15 if she doesn't. Public and you deliver the lashing. She is
mm,
your crew, ostensibly.
I guess that's only fair. I just look at her.
Obviously, we'll need to put the usual theater around it, gathering up people that the story gets passed on and memory is served. Speak as if there was a doubt whether or not she would survive this. And, exactly. From that point forward, she will be your responsibility. But a fair warning, I don't care whose crew you're with. If you ever make an attempt on my life again, either you die or I do. But no, we don't both walk away next time. And she just kind of like stares with him. There was just like a coldness in her eyes.
mm.
Yeah. And
You
he's
should
like,
be. The eye's not there.
yeah. And she
No,
just kind of,
Sai's not here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Man, this is all Shaba show here.
Yeah.
Maybe he says, up until the point of the lashing, we will all be civil. You will be handed the hospitality of a guest. But he says, but the lashing will take place. And he says, and he kind of, and, and maybe he's like, he sends for Yvel, and he's like, Yvel, and she kind of pops in, and she's like, make the arrangements. There's going to be a public lashing. And Vel kind of like kind of nods and takes off to go take care of the stuff. And Zeradin probably said, like, we probably leave the scene with Zeradin being like, "Would you care for another drink?" you know, and, and we kind of leave the scene there at that point.
Okay.
Yeah,
I hate him.
there is, and I think let's cut over to Captain Zai and the crew of the Blue Ember. You guys.
Hi.
So
Yar.
you have been working on, you've been working getting your stuff done, the traditional and stuff.
Mhm.
And by the way, a little bit of bookkeeping.
Oh
You
yeah.
guys get paid for the diplomat job. So that's 50,000 credits, and Zai will handle your payouts. He will figure all that up individually and send that off to you guys.
Hey Zai, do you want to just sync 5K of those for a mission complete for me, and then
That would make
loan
us
me
even. And then you want how much for your
1,500?
dog?
1,500.
Thought it was 1,800.
So I have 300 currently, 320.
Oh,
Yeah.
how about we just do 2,000 and you can cut it off whatever you do next. And
Okay,
that way you have
sounds good.
a little bit of spending money after the fact.
Sure, works for me.
And I
Alright.
owe my soul to the company store.
Yeah.
No joke. He just offers
But
such competitive rates of no interest.
Right. That's the part that's better for everyone. If I was a real company store, it'd be 12% per day.
yeah. But I think as you guys are kind of going about your thing, maybe Ashira, there is an alarm going off. Like, you get an alarm that gets sent directly to your comm unit,
Okay.
and it's an alarm that has to do with, like, that you and Kolnak set up for emergencies dealing with the containment field for Melanie and what have you.
Mm, poor girl.
Yeah, and there's
Okay.
yeah, so you know, you you get the message that something's going down there, and like, maybe if you don't immediately, whether you start off or not, whether you start off in that direction or not, you do get a message from Kolnak, like, almost immediately after. I'll meet you there.
Right. And I should definitely get informed if it's about Melanie. I mean,
Yeah.
it can happen after you do your thing, but still.
No, I'm just gonna text you.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. All
What
right.
time is it?
It's
He's at 10. Look at Xander. It's
10.
10.
Let me see. I forget how long the days are on the Adari.
Too damn long.
Well, that's the thing. Every
What
planet's
time
going
is
to have
it?
a
Pack
different
standard time.
packed standard time. It's about 2 in the morning.
Okay, so I would have probably still been up. That's good to know.
So,
Do we have regular sleeping arrangements? We do not.
right. Well, I
Actually, the
mean,
Jester and I talked about this the other day. Zai sleeps for 4 hours a night.
pretty much. But other than that, no. Other than duty shifts, like, which I assume you guys organize compared to pack standard time.
Oh,
A lot
duty.
of some of your, some or many of your people maybe, continue to still sleep on the natural cycle for, where they live at from their home planet.
And we're
Which,
accommodating to a point, but still.
right.
Pack
No, I
standard is
mean,
normally what everyone goes by in space, which is why we do it. Otherwise, we'd have a Dari time set up because I'm Kasathan and I'm captain.
Listen,
so the Adar,
if someone told you that if Pack Standard Time told you to jump off a cliff, would you do it?
Well,
Well,
yes,
since we
considering
both
everyone
know that
else
time
would.
is just a construct of people with brains, it doesn't really matter.
Adar, for the record, Idari's day is a 27-hour day.
We could all just use Unix.
So
Mm.
you're a
Eh,
but yeah, there's probably some people who still operate on their local time from where they're from, which for most of them would be the Adari standard. Uh, but you know, as for the rest of you, it's up to you whether you're on your local time from your planet of birth, whether you're on PAX standard, or whether you never really keep a particular schedule other than what your duty shifts are. You know.
mm.
Um, so it's all about how you guys have that arranged. I assume that you have enough people to fill shifts that there can be a
Yes,
little
and if we
leeway at
don't,
least,
we will hire more.
right?
Ah,
But I think that so you had sent out a message to try to get a hold of Dr. Talbot. It's probably going to take a
yes.
little bit to get a hold of
And
him.
we would have, I'd still be sending messages to the place that I knew that Shaba was, and also to Broken Rock, because
Best
that
7.
is our kick. Yeah. But either way, I'm still sending messages to both places anytime we do something.
Right,
Because the best way to have an army is to have a well informed army.
right.
Okay.
Well, and I think while you're kind of going about and I think like you guys get down there, I don't know how fast, I don't know, unless Ashira or Zai decide.
Nope.
Um,
Just we arrive around the same time.
all right, yeah, Kolnak is already on the scene, and he's like, the capacitor's blue again. The variance has been fluctuating lately. He looks over at you, Ashira, and maybe this is something you guys have been talking about, but the sort of like fluctuation between temporal, dimensional, and arcane energies has been rapidly changing. The sort of like harmonics you set up before are just
Ooh.
not. They're just going to be like they they don't they work on a shorter rotation cycle
Oh,
before
nice
things
quality.
change again.
That was not the
So,
right person. I apologize.
but I think Kolnak probably hands you a couple of familiar devices. He's like, I could use your hand getting it back under stabilization. He says, and like Ashira, you've seen these devices before. You and
Help build it.
Kolnak kind of came up with
Yeah.
this, these devices to help you. All it
Mm.
specifically does is help you recalibrate the harmonics for the arcane for the arcane energies and the
I don't need
temporal
these.
energies and stuff. But you've got but yeah, you've got that. And he's like, we're gonna have to. He says after the. He says start getting in and trying to get it and locked down. We've got a bit of a. And let's get an engineering check from those of you who want to use engineering and a mysticism check from those of you, specifically you, Ashira, need to make a mysticism check because Kolnak can't.
Okay,
Uh,
mysticism. Oh, for Kolnak, not me.
well, for you,
Oh,
Kolnak
for me.
can't make. Yeah, Kolnak
Okay.
can't. Kolnak needs an engineering check. So
So I need a mysticism check.
And I'll make because I have.
uh,
Mm,
Oh, cat. So
36.
all right, and get Kolnak's engineering check.
just did it.
All right.
They're done.
Yeah, maybe there's like, and maybe this is one of those things where like you guys are trying to get this the devices tuned in, but like why you got called down here. Like the door off of the room was blown out again, and this time like one of the Kasathans that are kind of keeping an eye on the like sort of monitoring got caught by the door. Like
Mm.
maybe uh, there's a couple of other
Hazard
Kasathans checking
pay.
on him. Yeah, there's a couple of the other unfulfilled checking on him. Probably Jim and Rossif are checking on him.
Yeah.
Like
Hey man, how
making
you
sure
doing?
they're like, dude, like Are you okay? Are you injured? Can you? Is it? How does this feel? Can you move your legs? Can you move your arms, your toes, and that kind of stuff? Um, do you feel dizzy? Neither of them are trained medical experts, so there's only so much they can do. But they're
So, guys, what if we use the selenium from goat to build
well,
a harness to help keep her in check?
well, you get the first of all,
I'm sure
but
goat has harnesses. They're probably just not the right kind.
Uh, selenium is what makes goat the most expensive thing ever.
Is it?
Yes. It's not the layers and layers of money that we've put into it to make it look awesome and be cool. It's the fact that it's hard as a tear of a god.
well, rumored to be the tear of a goddess.
Well,
Oh,
we've got all these
okay.
years in the future.
No, we
So,
don't.
All these years in the future, and we're still getting
No.
chased by God. Awesome.
but yeah, I think this is one of those where you guys have to like push in against the energy from like
No.
from three sides, like, and it like the energies are generating a great deal of heat um, through sort of like arcane agitation and friction and whatnot. So you're
Mm.
all sweating as you're sort of like pushing, dialing in and adjusting the instruments and whatnot. You might have managed to finally get the containment breach like under control, and maybe like the wall in front of the door, like the shield screen, the is sort of like a purple grid like thing, like goes back up, like your
Thank you.
and starts absorbing more of that power. And this is the thing, like it's like Kolnak, like the damn thing's it's getting worse, not better. We don't have many ideas. At least I don't. There's not much more that we can do here. Sleff's notes gave me a great start to try to figure out how to get with this, but they're not complete. I don't think he ever finished his studies on temporal mechanics.
I'm sorry. All I hear is, Captain, I'm giving her all she's got. That's all I fucking heard the whole fucking time.
He's There you go. Well, he's a dwarf, so
I know he sounds like. I'm sorry.
uh, there's, but yeah, Ashira, this is something you're aware of too. Like this, that you're not gonna be able to keep this up. Like you're not certain how much longer you guys can keep the sort of like slap together makeshift instrumentation to working and keeping this thing from blowing a hole in everything.
Oh, we're from the south. We got this. We got the duct tape. Okay, so I'm realizing that, and I'm probably like, okay, well, what can we do that's different? So I might do some research on it.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's no way we can be like, oh yeah, well, money's not an issue. Fix it. We can't do that.
Right. There's only so many doors you can replace.
Yeah. Brand new. Fuck it.
But yeah, and there's a great deal of like and maybe there's like damage control teams trying to take care of sort of like the physical damage to like the doorway and its frame and what have you. And Rossif is like, it kind of comes up and he's like, and maybe this is somebody that like Ashira, because he's sort of one of the primary sort of guys in the engineering room. Like he'd be under Kolnak and Vector for sure, but
Okay.
he'd be like their third. And he's like, he probably comes up and he's like, that's about the third time this week that we've had an incident. It's the first time one of our guys has gotten injured. He's got a broken arm. I mean, we're gonna see if we can't find somebody to set that. We're here on the Adari, but we're gonna have to. Uh, we don't have a med bay, so we're gonna have to take him to the hospital.
The lizard man walks up and goes, "No, we don't."
We don't have to take him to the hospital?
No,
Yeah,
I
because
have the ability to do that without leaving.
you can treat him without a med bay.
I can set the bone right now with my medicine, and then heal him the rest of the way with my magic.
Well, whatever it takes. I mean, I did. I
Captain
wasn't
Side
aware.
does have me in charge of that, sir. He's
Sorry,
really, really nice about it. Hang on.
Yeah, Kolnak is probably
Oh, nope, that's Kolnak.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah,
Kolnak's like,
really
hey,
fucking
he knows
nice
what he's
about it.
doing.
Yeah, Kolnak's just like, oh, come on, let the bastard do his job.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's try and bluff through that because that was horrible.
Drinvesh just be like,
haha.
He's like, yeah,
I know I'm a vest, but come on.
He's like, okay, and Kolnak's probably like, you don't. Maybe you didn't see. You'll have to forgive him. He doesn't see a lot of the internal memos. I mean, he's on a list for all of the engineering stuff, but some of the other stuff maybe not exactly goes through his desk quite the same. So
I realized that they know Zenfaresh mostly as the chief mate, but with all the other doctors with Shaba,
yeah,
he has been the one that's been treating wounds. He was the one that treated all the wounds after the demons.
Well, here's the thing too. Like, Zrinvesh has been mostly quiet. Like they'd haven't had a ton of interaction, so they don't really know him well. So they didn't know he was a mystic or a doctor. They just assumed he was part of the security forces and there to kick ass. It's like, oh
no, he is built different than every other Vesk you've ever seen. Well,
yeah.
at least in general.
He's
There are others like Zenfaresh, but they are few and far between.
Right.
So
It's hard to get past. It's hard to get past the reputation. He's like, well, I guess if that's okay, and yeah, but Ashira, give me a mysticism roll here to see what you can deduce about what's going on here.
24.
To the best of your knowledge, this is this could have a chain effect. There is the potential and possibility, given what you've seen of maybe Slef's notes, or just basic arcane theory, that first of all, this should not be combining the way it is. Temporal energy and dimensional energy, when they combine together, it's always that wildly unpredictable, and they generally shouldn't. Like something.
Sounds like he's talking about me and Nurks. Generally, they shouldn't.
Yeah, it's like, but no, there's a. But the thing about it is, when they rotate on sort of like the harmonics and frequency and what have you, it almost seems responsive to what you're doing. And it seems like the periods between having to adjust the harmonics are getting shorter and shorter. So
needs to be on a phase differential.
Well, given the fact that it seems to be adapting this energy storm of temporal and arcane energy and dimensional energy that shouldn't even be mixed this way, keeps adapting to whatever you're doing, in some way. It suggests that there's some sort of intelligence behind it.
What was the name of the place that they suggested that we go? Some sort of cluster that had pre-gap things on it.
They didn't say there was. The new cluster that they found.
The one that's in near space.
But only
Is that
barely.
Where it was? Yeah, but only barely.
The Icadian cluster.
That's the one. Thank you. I couldn't remember the word. That's the place that we have the best chance of finding out more stuff, according to the Adari scholars that are here that have been here and checked her out, guys. And it's
Well,
definitely something we need to do. Unfortunately, there's more stuff to do too. Go ahead.
Shira, it's occurred to you that because it keeps adapting, there's got to be some sort of. It seems like there's some sort of intelligent reasoning behind the way the energies are shifting.
Oh, good. That's not terrifying.
Either the
Well,
energies themselves are alive somehow, or somebody is controlling them.
Or it's haunted.
yes, the teenage girl that's growing up and becoming an adult
Uh,
is haunted.
Supernatural. Lilith.
I
Perfect
watched season 1 and
example.
2, and then I was done with live action Scooby Doo.
Okay, wow. Okay. We'll attack that later. Listen, first, stop talking. Second, I've already had this conversation multiple times with the boyfriend today over him telling me stuff like, well, I've never watched the Evil Dead movies. So we're not going to have this conversation.
How young is he?
Oh my god. Anyway, what was I saying?
No,
I got
no
distracted by
conversation.
Scooby Doo.
Scooby Doo.
You
All
were
right.
we were talking
Oh,
about how
Lilith. I was using Lilith as an. Okay, so here's the thing. Okay, she's okay, she's probably not the spawn of. Well, okay,
No.
Lilith wasn't the spawn of Satan. She was like his sister. Okay, whatever. But I can't remember. It's been a while since I watched Supernatural. So,
You did.
but she could be. Well, you know what? Here, and that's my next question. Are there possessions? Is that are demons real? Is that a thing that we
Yeah,
have in space?
you have fought demons.
We
You
fought demons
radiation
like
demons.
3 sessions ago.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
She had space diarrhea.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah.
hear. Okay, so she could be possessed, or she could be like super powerful and not realize it. And it could be like, she doesn't know how to control it. It just happens. It also could come down to her not thinking that it's her that's doing it, and she doesn't know. There are a lot of factors, so we need to figure out. I just knocked my camera to the side because I was trying to make a point.
Keep going.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm hanging the boyfriend who's playing a video while I'm trying to talk. Anyway, I don't know. I feel like we shouldn't underestimate her, but at the same time, I don't really think I've spent time getting to know her. I've kind of just been like, I don't want to deal with that. Ashira's been like, I got enough shit on my brain. I'm not a babysitter. I don't know this chick. I've just kind of let her get taken
It's
care
so
of.
amazing because there are literally sessions where you played video games with her and hung out with her and talked
Yeah,
about
that's
things.
not one or two.
Doesn't really take much to bond with anybody.
Oh, it takes. Well, have you met humans? It takes a lot.
It doesn't take much.
Depending on the human, it could take forever.
Not all yeah. Anyway.
Oh,
let's
we're
move
not
it along.
humans. I forgot. Okay. Either way, I feel as a Shira that I don't really know her well enough, and I also feel that I've kind of dropped the ball. But she hasn't been my direct responsibility, and I've kind of had a lot of shit going on. So I feel like as a Shira, I'm like, I don't know how to approach this, but I feel like there are things that we haven't considered.
Mm-hmm.
Like the stuff that sounds stupid, like she could be possessed or whatever. But I feel like it's more she probably is doing things and reacting and not realizing the impact of her reaction, maybe. I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense in my head.
So we're
Okay.
talking about possession, or we're talking about subconscious
Psychic abilities?
superpowers, psychic abilities, powers.
They both sound stupid, but anything's possible.
No. Honestly, they're both really good ideas, and
Okay,
we're not
well, I feel
faulting
like
you
we
for
should
any of that.
investigate these.
Right. And the place that was mentioned last week to me that I was telling you about
Yeah.
is the only place that they could think of where we might have a chance to find any sort of help, because that's the sort of place where that shit happened.
You you get a
Go ahead.
Commodore. This is about the time that you get a message, or well,
It's like, is
actually,
it
you
time
get
for
a
me to go
notice.
see in here?
Actually, you get a like an alert that somebody is essentially like at at the door. Somebody's
Oh,
at the airlock or whatever. So,
camera's on. I look at
yeah,
my comm.
there is an elf woman dressed in a very sharp business suit with a couple of individuals next to her that are also dressed in very sharp business suits. Um, but the
I'm gonna
elf
go
would,
ahead and make the check, but I'm gonna show this to Ashira and be like, friend of yours?
well, give me culture checks. See if you recognize this person.
I probably don't. She definitely doesn't.
Zai, yeah, neither of you necessarily recognize this person, but there is but they're kind of they're waiting patiently.
Fine. Let's do this right. Uh, I open comms. Hey, Burnward.
What's up?
Uh, we have unknowns at the front door. ETA 1 minute and
Yeah,
go.
you just hear like the racking of a shotgun as he's like, on my way.
All right. And Six Pit, be my shadow. You're a good boy. And we go. Ashira, you can come too if you want, but like there are random elves at my door. And I did like the cut of their suits, so thump, 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 thump.
Huh. All right.
Sorry, I was defending myself in chat.
No, you're fine.
You're
doing great.
okay.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, we all go down to the door that want to. Ashir doesn't have to. And I open the door and I'm like, can I help you?
Burnward is standing.
Yes.
Burnward is
Go ahead.
behind the captain, by the way, with a weapon drawn but not aimed at them. Just like
Okay.
in power
And
armor.
one more thing as I think about it, if we're on the Ember, how the fuck did they get to the front door? Are they in spacesuits? The Ember can't land, remember?
But the Adari is essentially a world
Yeah,
ship.
I'm sorry. I'm
It's
dumb.
one of the few places
I
you can
dumb.
dock.
Yeah, I forgot for some
Yeah.
reason that we were at the Adari instead of on an actual
Yeah.
planet. Shame
It's
on
out
me
comes
as a
the
disciple.
umbilical cord. And,
Yeah. There's
Dur, dur, dur. Okay,
I'm sorry,
so
did you just pull a random umbilical cord? Like, here, I
here's
have one in my pocket.
yep.
yeah, basically.
so you open the door and the elf woman looks over at Burnward and smiles and looks back at you and goes, "The famous Captain Zyvolvetto, or Commodore, I believe it's called, or is it President? Either
Yes.
way,
King.
it's a pleasure to meet King. Ah, not much is known about the political climate of your planet, I'm afraid, at the moment. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Jarlin Star Whisper, and I believe we have some business to discuss."
Can I make another culture check now that I've heard the name to see if it like makes me reference something?
Well, as soon as said her name, the Culture 22 would be enough to. You
Okay,
recognize the name Jarlin Star Whisper. She's
definitely Ja
actually,
Lin.
yeah, she's fairly kind of become fairly well known recently. She is one of the higher ups for a company called Paperleaf Tea Trading Company. They're ostensibly a tea trading company, although they trade in other goods and wares as well as
Oh,
needed.
May I
Uh,
make a culture check on the Paperleaf Tea
yeah.
Trading Company?
well, she hasn't mentioned the name of the company yet,
Oh,
but yeah,
damn.
you can make
Yeah, I
that
can't
because
think
she
of you
will
quite
mention
yet.
it in the next. So she
Yeah.
like
All right.
I
I look at her
represent
after that and I go, that's a very old name.
Damn. Oh well.
Okay.
Indeed, it is. I I am named for one of our greatest people, the founder, in fact, of our company. Um, and Culture Check 7 is not good enough by any means. She says,
Oh no, I figured as much.
They
I went,
sell
oh okay.
tea.
she
That's
says,
what they
Yeah,
do. They sell
Bernward's like
tea.
I don't drink tea. That's his. That's
yeah,
in his head. That's what
yeah,
he's
I
thinking.
don't drink tea. She's
Yeah.
like,
Mm.
not much is known about the political climate of your planet, Patella, but may I come in?
Yes, definitely. It's a new ship. Look around, see if you like it.
She's
In
Don't
about
like,
look
6
too
months, I'll sell
closely.
it to you and build a new one.
Today on
she
Cribs in
kind,
space.
yeah,
Mm.
she kind of looks around and she's like, it's a very impressive ship. And she says, and
Eh,
she, without missing a beat, she looks at you. She goes, Paralictor Burnward. Oh, it's ex-Paralictor now, isn't it?
mm.
Depends on the
Have you
day.
left? Depends on the day.
Uh-huh.
Understood. And she's Ashira, you're rumored to be unkillable. And and she kind of like she's like, Tix Pit. Hmm.
Hmm. No one
She's
knows
like
me.
I like to kill.
she's like, you've taken over as the bodyguard for King's Eye in the absence of Nahir. And by the way, my
Mm.
condolences on your friend's loss, the loss of your friend. She's
Oh,
like,
don't worry. Before I leave, I get to go talk to him.
she nods. She says, we're going to need a room where we can speak. And I'm going to recommend that you only have one of your senior staff members present and turn off
Ooh.
all recording equipment. For this discussion, you won't want it to be on record.
Sometimes I just don't think people know me. You know what I mean? Um,
That's that. I.
I
You don't want
will
this on record. They
agree to
say to Zai.
this because no, I
I'm
don't.
I'm
I
only
hate the fact that I know things I shouldn't. All right, so anyway, but I will agree to this because I'm Zion. I'm really not afraid of three dudes in business suits. So,
she's like
Burnward, I'll let it be you. Tix Pit, if I die, kill them all. Okay.
she's like and she's kind of like look she kind of says she says just so you feel a bit more secure about it, I'll leave my security escort outside. After
You
all,
can bring him in. I'm not afraid of really much, honestly. There's a person that's killing other Zais and other timelines right now. So, whatever.
He's
she
rather
kind
cavalier about the whole mortality thing.
Everyone dies. I get to go to a computer when I die. Where do you get to go?
she kind of smiles and she's like, hopefully nowhere for quite some time in that.
Hmm.
And she kind of like whatever
Oh,
room
sorry,
you
dear.
have.
That was actually directed at Burnward, but
Oh yeah,
yes, I appreciate you answering the question as well.
Burnward just nods and goes, "I'm dead," and just
There
like
you go.
gives him a face like, "What the fuck you think happens?"
Just, there's
Oh wait, no,
exact.
actually, Burnward would say, "Oh, my soul gets enslaved by a devil for the next couple centuries."
Yeah, I vaguely remember that from your flashback. All right.
Rather, like rather interesting deals that the Hell Knights make.
It's only
Uh,
Yeah.
if you get into management. And he shoots kind of like a grin.
and she
All
kind
right.
of
Anyway,
and
to business. Let's go to my room. It'll be fun.
yeah, she follows you and she allows you to lead the way. And like once the door is closed, she goes, um, she's like,
Go ahead, scan the room. I promise there's nothing on right now.
she goes, oh no, I told you about the surveillance equipment for for the safety of your equipment. I
Mm.
run anti I run anti espionage software on on my devices wherever I go.
And that's fine, but we also run anti on ours. But I understand, and I
She's
also
like-
appreciate you being honest. Continue.
she says, let me be a bit more precise. We are already in business with Patella, although it's all through back channels, shell corporations. After all, you are sanctioned, and most of our most profitable business is here in the Pact Worlds and the Marixa Republic. However, that we'll let the lower level functionaries take care of that business. That's the business of well, business.
Mhm.
This is the business of those who need information. There is a
Oh, good.
service that we provide that that isn't exactly on the books. One you may find yourself quite useful. Um,
I
would
can
you?
always use more information. Do I want to make a sense motive? Absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is more about kind of reading her demeanor than anything else.
Okay.
So,
So 29.
okay, so you get that she's adding layers in here. Maybe this is something that Burnward might not catch on to, but you definitely do as an envoy. And she's definitely doing this on purpose. She's giving you a very learned and refined accent of somebody who was born to a relatively higher class of people, like somebody who
Mm.
from money, but there is the vaguest hints on certain turns when she says things that suggest a lower ranking birth, somebody who was born
She
into a
used a
poor
slang
family.
word where she wouldn't have if she had actually been raised right.
But
Gotcha.
even that is a veil. Like as you're looking at it, the initial like she's actually putting in those little hints and accents to see if you're sharp enough to catch them and to
Mm.
see if you're sharp enough to see past them, which you actually kind of do at this point because
Okay. I
it's
have. Can I do something to see if like she's disguised?
um
Is
Actually, I'd
that
love to make a perception check just to see if
there you
there's
go.
anything I can
That's the
perceive
word. Thank
here.
you.
perception.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
I'm
make
I'm
a
gonna
perception.
lose it at that, but Ward might actually see stuff I don't.
Wow, you
Oh
got
fuck, look, I actually saw something.
yeah, you rolled a nat 20. Good for you, you fucker.
Right? Look at how low my nat 20 is.
Zai, what you
Yeah.
can tell is that what you can tell is clearly there is some sort of disguise, but you can't make
Mm.
out what the base race is. You can't tell if she's actually an elf, if she's not an elf. You the persona of Lin is a skin deep thing. Like there's more to her.
Oh,
She might actually be an
so
elf. She might actually be an elf, but everything she puts on is there is a great deal of um,
okay.
there's a great deal of deception in what she does. On the surface, you can tell that on the surface she is a businesswoman and a very good one at that.
Definitely.
But there's far, far more than just an average businesswoman. She's way too perceptive. All of the social cues and veils that she's putting up in place leads you to be like, she's not just some businesswoman because the
Right.
whole point of her social veils with the accent and the vocal tones, you would assume that Burnward's assumption, the likely assumption that Burnward or somebody more pedestrian is probably close to the truth, that she's comes from some sort of like pedigreed background, but she puts those little hints that she might not be in there to see if anybody can see past it, to see that she actually does come from. She's seeing how much you can pick up on without ever actually fully misrepresenting herself to anybody who's not savvy. Only people who are
Right.
savvy would pick up on the fact that there are so many social veils and social, like,
So,
misleads and red herrings going on.
what will this information cost me? Will it cost me money, time, effort?
It's going to cost you money, but I mean, that is a business after all. But let me be quite
Mm.
frank with you, as you are somebody who seems to be the kind who a person who appreciates that sort of thing. And
I
she
do, Frank.
smiled at
Let's
you,
continue.
and you did notice that she smiled at you the moment that you started to see through the veil. Like she caught on, she knew she was specifically looking for that moment, and she saw it when
Right.
you did. She's like, as the Paper Leaf Tea Trading Company, some of you may know, some of you may not know. we have a very strong entrepreneurial background. My namesake that I was named for, rumors and conjecture aside, it is a known fact that the original Jalin showed up in a city as a former slave with little more than what she had stolen off of her former captors and a partner, and through a great deal of hard work, the patronage of a wealthy merchant, an important merchant, and with a great deal of hard work, she went on to create and expand the Paper Leaf Tea Trading Company and develop foundations strong enough that we survived the gap. Our records are perhaps slightly more complete than others, but we did not escape completely unscathed. What is not known to the general public is that Jolin was a spy. The Paper Leaf Tea Trading Company, we are spies. We work in intelligence. And we work for money. Like anyone else, we work for money. And we are very good at our jobs. For example, I know almost as much about this ship as you do at this point, and I know almost as much about you and your crew as you do.
Hmm.
It's not a thing. It's not a thing that I'm prepared to. This is not a threat. This is simply, well, how'd you put it? A portfolio, if you will.
Impressive.
Right.
Never heard a spy directly out themselves yet.
She's
Generally,
like,
they're screaming, "Oh no, I'm not a spy!" as you vent them out in airlock. You know.
that's because your profession uh, does not uh, does not give you a spy very many reasons to confront you and to tell you that they're a spy. Spies, by our
Burnwood.
nature, we work for the rich and the powerful, those who move nations, and by default, your president, your king here, is very much that.
He's very moving.
Hmm.
Is- Besides, good spy knows the right tact to take with anyone that they deal with and do business with. I've been paying
Got it.
attention for quite some time. A number of people do a lot of things to try to manipulate your crew, get you involved in various many things. Personally,
Yeah.
I'm not here to manipulate you. I'm here to fulfill a need.
Uh,
Your people have been one
uh,
step ahead. Your enemies have been one step ahead of you. We can help you with that.
Okay. So I have a whole lot on my plate, as you apparently know, correct?
Very much so.
Okay. What exactly do you think is important for me at the moment?
Well, that would depend upon your perspective and your agenda and what exactly it is that you believe to be important, which I know is not always in line with working with or for. But I would say
Mm,
at this point, your newly minted captain is you've sent him to direct to the right place. Uh, my friend,
well, that's good.
our associate Tomic Frickson should be able to help him out with a few things here and there. Should he
Good.
avail himself of such aid? To show you good faith, I do have a bit of information that you may find interesting.
Very well.
This is directly for free.
Oh,
Your friend Dr. Ernebron Tallet. My sources tell me that there was a station out in a system called Raffidin. They called the system Raffidin. They called the station Raffidin One. Apparently, they lost contact with this black site research station, and operatives were sent out in order to gather intelligence and find out what happened. I have it on good authority. He was working on technology that would allow for the mass industrialization of cybernetically enhancing individuals. They were using your old nemesis, the next step, as test subjects, willing, mind you, but test subjects nonetheless. The very direct route that I believe that my understanding of the situation is that something went wrong with the experiment, some sort of corrupted AI or some sort. The orcs from the Tuskhorn Legion and the and Dro from Net Sidara were fighting over control of this station. I'm not in the I believe that there's still a bit of skirmishes and battles going on in the system of Raphida. For the most part, the orcs just want the planets there. They're willing to negotiate the space station back to Vitari Tech's control. The Drow want to take the station and presumably everything there. And while I'm certain the agents that were sent out did the best job they could of purging all company secrets and destroying whatever evidence they can, Drow are fairly resourceful, and there's no telling what they might glean from it if they hold control of the station.
Hmm.
This is important to you, probably only as a tangent. It's just simply a little bit of leverage or information of your friend Ernebron Tallet. I'm certain you'd like to turn the tables on him, considering his mode of operation is to simply give people whatever information he deems is necessary. I'm certain knowing a little something he doesn't expect going into a deal or negotiation would be of benefit to you in some way.
Hmm. And we do have a meeting coming up with him.
I would
Well,
arrange
thank you.
my as far as it goes, we're willing to negotiate payments to come from Patella, whatever back channels you decide to run them through, or probably be fine. We'll work the details out as we go. But
Hmm.
my my offer to you is quite simple. You pay us our nominal fee. We'll get you information on those you wish to have information on. There may be some information that's more expensive or take
Just not
longer to
possible.
access, or just not possible, or to take longer to access. But we are the best we are the best at what we do. There are a few who can match us. Oh,
Hmm.
and it seems Net Sidara has their hand deal of pies. I believe they have an operative in Preluria as well. Haven't been able to confirm exactly what his game is yet, but we're working on it.
Hmm. Cool. Let's see. So, is there anything I want to ask this chick before we go
Hmm.
on? I want to ask about Melanie to see if she knows of a good place to go.
I was actually going to ask something as well with the captain's
Go ahead.
permission.
Mm.
My contingent, I mean, you obviously probably know what happened to all of them. Been about a year and a half now. Any particular reason I haven't heard back?
Well, that depends on which one you're asking. Some of them have good reasons, some of them have bad reasons, some of them have permanent reasons.
No, I'm talking about the fleet themselves. Spent a good at least 6 months reaching out every day.
Oh no, there is there's a great deal more going on with the Hell Knights these days.
Hmm.
The If you wish to know more, we have our fees.
Nah, I just needed to know that they knew I was trying to contact him. Captain, how you
Yes, sir.
like the sound of loyalty? And not the mercenary.
How do I like the sound of loyalty?
Yeah.
I do like loyalty. I'm
You
fairly loyal. I had a evil rat until he redeemed himself by committing suicide. So that's
reaches
that.
out his hand to you, Captain.
Okay, I take it.
Yeah, he goes, well, Apparently, weren't no accident that I was left on a planet, so, you pay pretty good for right now. Shakes your hand.
Okay, well, guys, good news and bad news. Good news. We now have a permanent person who's not going to get paid every time he does something cool. On the same note, that also means that he just messed up everybody's share by adding another number.
He's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, and a bit of
Uh,
free advice for you as well, Burnward, and you may want to speak this to Ashira as well. But
oh yeah.
there are very powerful individuals here with them. But Captain Cordrum is free from prison, and he is on the station. However, I would strongly recommend against causing a scene here. It would be most unfortunate, and I believe it would probably be in your best interest to hold on that.
Burnward says this station.
He says, in.
No.
Yes, he's on the Adari.
He's on. Wait, what? Woman, what did you just say to
Yeah,
us?
no, Burnward physically, very visibly tenses up.
Oh.
Oh, don't worry. He's every reason to mind his leash is being held by a very vexing individual. Um, in fact, you may as well warn Vesa as well that he's holding Cervantic Cordrum and Evan Saval's leash.
And
And
Burnward
there.
just like, but fucking excuse me?
So, Bernward,
So
just repeat this for me. You're telling me that Evan Saval and Cervantic Cauldron are both on the Adari with us right now?
So Evan
they
Saval,
have the backing of the Aspis Consortium right now. In
so
fact,
they have the Aspis and like at this point Burnward is like no longer in bodyguard mode and like right now he's like making like sending messages to his contacts on here. Like the few that he's made.
he's got
Okay.
the Aspis Consortium. Although Mr. Riven is a bit of a thorn in the side for a few members of the Aspis Consortium. Your Dr. Erna Brontalet being one of them. They're not. They don't exactly get along. Mr. Riven is a bit of an upstart and he's also He's also on the board for Arius Tech.
Let's see. So,
Burnward, Burnward, you and Zai can probably make some checks at culture checks here.
Can I
And I'm gonna
make
give both of
profession,
you.
Hell Knight, or mercenary?
Yes, you can. And
Uh,
Zai, I'm going to give you +4 up bonus on this because you are a weapons manufacturer.
oh, come on.
and what am I rolling? I'm sorry. Culture?
Culture.
I
Jesus
apologize.
Christ,
You just
Burnward.
told me news that makes me want to get kicked off the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So
Kick
Arius
his
Tech.
ass.
For
Kick
those
his ass.
for those of you know who for Zai, and this is good enough for you as well, Burnward. The 21
Okay.
works as well because you guys know weapons. Like
Yeah.
Zai,
Oh,
you
yeah.
make and sell them. Burnward, you use them a lot.
I've been through like literal R&D groups. Yeah.
So Arius Tech is a company that makes weapons tuned up for those who have telepathic abilities, like the Lashunta. They're
Mm-hmm.
very, very, very. They're like they've got a big presence on Castorville right now, and the Aspis Consortium themselves are a whole big can of worms because those of you who know that they have a quasi-national status, and unless they do something super fucked up, the Pact Worlds basically lets them do whatever they want.
Mega science think tank / mega corporation.
Yeah. So slash criminal fucking
Enterprise. Yeah.
masterminds.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they like from what you guys, this means you guys now know of 4 members of the Aspis Consortium because you know that Janice McClare is one, Erna Braun Tallet is one, You know that now that Vasa's father, Mr. Riven, is one, and you also know Alfred von Glurf, who is actually who's actually more than just an ally and a little bit more like a friend, who is also on the Asp Consortium. Although,
Yeah, he's the only one that's kind of on our side.
yeah, well, and you're aware that he's cooperating with a steward investigation here. You're guessing it probably
Yeah.
had something to do with the legal troubles he found himself in after connections to the Fire Shrike were found out. And like, there's this moment where she's like,
Okay.
"There's a lot of money involved in this, and a great deal of political capital involved as well.
Mm.
A move here could be more than just getting yourselves kicked off of the Adari. It could start a full-blown war with Patella. And the Pact Worlds has a lot more guns, a lot more ships, and a lot more troops. I don't like your chances. You'll have to wait."
Burnward says,
What?
I can take that handshake back and disavow real quick if it means that it's not going to get you in a war, boss.
So I got to do this right for you, sir, because you are who you are. Oh, good. Okay. So I don't know how bad you want to kill this guy, but he killed my brother, my best friend, and my comrade. So I really, 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 really want him dead. And the only one that probably wants him dead more is. Are you still with us?
Nope, because you could only bring
Oh,
one
yeah.
senior staff into the meeting.
Yeah. Okay. So, and Ashira will not listen if she finds out. She will go completely apeshit and get herself killed. And Nurk's probably trying to rescue her killed as well. Those two we will not be able to stop.
I'm not going to. So,
what
Captain.
Go ahead.
So, first things first, I'm not going to get myself killed. Second things second, he is literally the reason that all of my squad is dead.
I understand that.
I don't really have what you call family, and I don't really have what you call friends.
Let's see.
You know, there are just certain parts of the story that I wish that I hadn't heard, because in my brain I'm going, oh fuck, I have to compartmentalize this, and I can't do that with my normal life. So now I know.
Yeah. Well,
But I
that was why, like, for
know.
the second, I was like, I'm surprised you hadn't freaked out. But yeah, you're not there, and that makes it way more
Well,
awesome
because
if
you
I
were
can
like
convince
you,
him
and
to
I
chill
was
out.
like, oh, I think it means me, and I put my mic down so that you could hear me talk, and
Yeah.
Jester goes, oh, I'm interjecting, and I was like, okay, and I flipped the mic back up, and then you said that, and I was like, fuck!
Okay. All
I
right,
can't
so
do it. Son of a bitch.
is there any way I can talk you out of doing this right now and instead joining Ashira and Nurx's cause to destroy him utterly later? Because he's gonna show up. I promise. I promise that you will get to fucking shoot your gun at him and taste his blood. But today isn't the day. And I realize I'm having this conversation in front of you three. If you have
Yeah.
other stuff to do, you may leave, and I appreciate it. Leave me your number and what your pay scale is for what shit costs. And I will definitely get back with you. Keep talking to my Minotaur friend on Patella, and have a great day.
And she's like, so and you require nothing else at this time? You'll find that I've had 2 cases of top red tea delivered to your cargo bay while we've been speaking.
Nice.
I thought that maybe while you're out there past out in the near space and the vast and wherever else your flights take you, a little taste of home might actually be something that might pick you up.
I appreciate that. I'm sorry. as you know, sometimes information spurs a whole lot of things, and this new knowledge has spurred a whole new chain of events. Thank you again.
Indeed. We'll be seeing each other again.
Okay.
And she smiles and she smiles and reaches out a hand to shake your hand.
Oh yeah, and as politely as possible, as I'm shaking her hand, I'm also pushing her slightly towards the door as the door opens, and everyone outside is like, "Hey,
Uh,
what's going on?" Yeah.
Yeah, and like as the door is just about to close, they see Burnward just hurl his bare fist into like a
A
nearby
steel
like
support beam.
thin metal like bulk area, causing a small dent and like pretty obviously breaking his hand. And you just be like,
When you feel the bones break, you also get hit in the head by a tiny hula girl with a palm tree.
yeah,
you just
this
yeah,
happens.
Yeah, and Burnward as the door closes goes, if I hadn't shaken your goddamn hand. And like he like fucking wrings his like hand out and like looks at it, goes, I'm your man now. I shook your hand. That means a lot more to you than most handshakes generally mean. I'll be in the fucking med bay.
Roger, Roger.
And he just walks out, and anyone who sees Burnward just sees like death incarnate fuming from his eyes as he just
Yeah,
walks to the med bay.
Ashira, when Burnward walks by you, he looks more angry than you've ever seen him, and he's never looked pleased. As far as you've seen him.
Fact.
You've never seen him look pleased, but this looks angrier than you've ever seen him, like ever.
Yeah. There might
When
even be
I
a
walk,
moment where
go ahead.
there might even be like a moment where he walks by like some random crew member down a hallway and he's just like, what? And just like keeps going. Like just freaks the dude out.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that.
It's probably one of your science crew officers too. Is just going back to his room, going off of shift. Doesn't even look at. It wasn't even looking at Burnward. It's just Burnward lashing out, like
Yeah.
somebody that was on your crew, on specifically on your like sensor crew. He's just
Yeah.
like fucking.
Mm.
He's like, oh shit, like for a second. I mean, he's a Kasathan, so like the moment he drew back, he started immediately reaching for like whatever knife or whatever he's got on his belt.
Yeah.
But, but then but like as like fucking Burnward walks away, he just kind of looks slightly relieved, like that was a fight I really didn't want to have.
I didn't want to die today, so thank God he didn't choose to kill me. Like,
Like,
thank God I
yeah,
didn't have to get in that fight I might have lost.
but whatever was said
Mm.
in that room pissed Burnward off somehow. Some fears.
When I come out, I walk up to Tix Pit, I pat him on the shoulder, and then I go, Tix Pit, put on your fancy clothes. It's time to go see Nahir. And then I look at you, Ashira, and I'm like, Ashira, everyone else is confined to the ship. No one leaves. I'll be back. Be ready when I'm back to leave.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. And let's cut over. Let's go ahead and cut over to Twinkle and Company. Twinkle, Xander.
Oh yeah, I hear, boss.
All right.
Don't worry
So
about me.
it's been a couple of days, and it's been a day like it's the gala, the charity event is happening, and you've managed to go. You've managed to make it there. Who all goes with you? Like who all are you taking with? Like Xander's needs to go, and I'm assuming
I'm
Oliver is
going.
probably like
I was gonna.
fending off questions somewhere, but
Yeah, it would make sense for Oliver to go.
he's probably tied up fending off stupid questions from people who have never like seen an uplifted bear before.
I don't understand. Probably to Xander. It's a fucking uplifted bear, and that means we had to bring Mahala.
Yep. So you brought Mahala as well.
Yeah.
Just remember, Captain, my dress matches your armor, so we look very cute right now.
You'd probably see just jaw tightening. I'll remember that, Mahala.
Yeah, and Salson, Dean Salson Thillis, like probably like meets you like you kind of come into the ballroom, and Dean Thillis was actually waiting. Was like, I'm so glad you could make it. There is there's a great deal going. He's like, I'm sure there are a number of people here who would be interested in your stories, and um, oh, there's more than a few that are curious about the battle above Patala. It's like there is it's like, but first I'd like to introduce you to a few people here. And
Hmm.
she's like, um, and um, you see that there is there's like first she brings you over to a like an elf. It's like and it's like this is well to a group of representatives, a group of people talking. Well, there's an elf, there is a gnome, and there is a Lashunta, sort of all talking together and whatnot. And she sort of like guides you over, and she's like, and she's like, ah, they recognize her when she walks up, like, ah, Salson, it's so good to see. So good to see you. And probably the that's probably the gnome. And she's like, ah, she's like, may I introduce to you Captain Twinkle Bailey of the Blue Ember of the Tempest. And Oliver Burns already like in a corner being flustered by people asking questions. And his crew, Oliver Byrne over there, um, and and Xander. Xander here uh, is a researcher. We've done a great deal of work. Who's done a great deal of collaboration with our departments. He's waiting to get access to the library at the moment. They're here on research expeditions, research, and they're kind of like they kind of all three they look at you and she's like, this, may I introduce to you? And she points to the gnome first. She's like, Smetic Nickimockery. And 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 Smetic looks at you up at you and goes, please, no need to be super so formal. You can just call me Smetty. Everybody does. And there she points to the forlorn elf. Or points to the elf. This is Kirkesh Felev, and then points to the Lashunta and Imra Torin. They're um they're all representatives, and she's kind of like naming off what districts that they're representative of. She's like, and I think it's probably Smetty that's like, so Twinkle Bailey. He's like, I've heard the name come up. Weren't you associated with that Fire Shrike crew?
Well, stories do happen to be stories. That being said, I am familiar with the Fire Shrike and her crew.
Like the Lashunta,
Ole.
and the Lashunta is probably like woman. The Lashunta woman is probably like, I heard that you were a participant in the battle above Patella.
I did, in fact, play a small part in the Battle of Patella.
Oh, you've got to tell me all about it. All those Hell Knight ships, ragtag group of colonists. It makes for a very striking story. There
Well,
are those who play up on the side that there were a number of terrorists with you, but I'm of the understanding it was more complicated. There were displaced refugees.
um, God, you're having Twinkle answer questions he's not good at. He's not a diplomat.
Are they fishing?
Jim, I'm a doctor, damn it. um, I mean, they
Well, I think-
are, yeah, basically. It depends. Well, all right, let's put a sense motive out there to decide how much do they. I want to know if they're genuinely curious or if they're just trying to vet who I say I am.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and give me that sense motive.
Mahala,
Don't
you
say
have.
anything without your lawyer.
Well, I was going to say, Mahala, you have full permission to do whatever you think you need to do.
Okay, well, I've rolled for everything. I was just
Mhm.
seeing if you needed me, Captain.
So, culture
Okay,
check.
so
Mahala, these three are fairly
Smitty.
important.
Okay, go
Smetty.
ahead.
Smetty.
Smitty, sorry.
Yeah, the
I'm of course going to talk to him first. He's my size.
but uh, they're all of them very much like relatively important like representatives here,
Representatives of what though?
various districts. They're
Okay.
they're part of like the government. They're
Ah.
basically essentially like congressmen. They're
Oh,
the re-
hell yeah.
it's a republic. It's a republic. They're
I
essentially
think at you.
yeah, they're essentially senators.
I think at you and I go, each of these people is a senator, and it would be best if we schmooze the hell out of them with Patella in mind and ourselves as well, Captain. And for some reason, when I talk to you in your brain, I don't have the accent.
Thank fucking God. He thinks back, not realizing he's on open comms.
Okay.
All
right,
well, I
so-
guess we'll throw a diplomacy check out there and see.
All right.
Run up the.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, then my diplomacy check would have been to help yours. I am your wing girl.
Okay. Yeah. So,
We'll just-
yeah, you
We'll do all of the saying nothing while pretending to say something. You know.
right. Well, it's kind of difficult because they kind of press you on details about the Battle of Patella and whatnot. And you
I'm
wanna
well
give me that
versed in
sense motive roll?
those. Ooh.
What's that?
Did you want to give me that sense motive roll?
Oh, him. Okay, my bad.
Oh,
I don't know nothing.
I was gonna say I did throw out a sense motive.
Oh yeah, it was a 32. It's up there.
Oh, there it is. Oh yeah. Yeah. So they are basically they're curious about the Battle of above Patella, but you can kind of read that each of them have their own take on it. Smetty, for his part, seems to be relatively neutral and open to hearing like the side of the story that you're going to tell. He doesn't seem to be coming in with particular prejudice of one way or another. Um, Kirkesh, he's a little bit harder to read, but he also seems to have a bit of a. He seems to be a bit wary. Like he's a little bit more disapproving of the situation with Patella. He's not terribly into it. He's curious about what happened, but he's one of those that probably falls on the side of how the fuck are we going to let somebody, commit a shit ton of crimes, then claim a planet and just get diplomatic immunity and suddenly everything is wiped clean. Like you kind of get the impression he leans in that direction where he's not like stalwart in it, but he leans in that direction. Like
Sure.
he
He's
kind of
fucking Karen. He's a Karen.
well, he's understandably concerned about like Marixa Republic's, sort of reputation and their sort of like foot forward in the galaxy and doing business with people,
When is the
that
last
they're
time
allies.
something like this happened?
It's been a long time since
I was gonna say it's probably opened doors to all sorts of unpleasant conversations. Like, what if someone
Exactly.
looks at this and says, "Hey, we can do that"?
Exactly. And that's why the packed world sanctioned you is because Patella is because they were like, look, if we just let them get away with this and do nothing, then the other people are going to try it. But they
Zai
have
is the reason that there has to be a sign that says no boogie boarding inside.
there's a thing though, like they exerted soft power. Like they did a very smart thing because they knew the Marixa Republic was probably going to follow suit and potentially the Veskarium. The Veskarium didn't end up following suit, they actually are recognizing and not sanctioning you, simply because they're like, no, they won their planet like warriors, and we've met Zai, and he's done good things for us, and they have a much more positive feeling towards
He's
you
a
guys, but they
conqueror.
didn't sanction. Yeah, they didn't sanction. Pact Worlds did. Meric's a Republic. From all you can tell, he's probably going to be one of the people who votes on, recognizing but sanctioning.
Right.
Um, you know, but on the other hand, Imra, she seems fairly sympathetic. Like she's basically like where Kirkash questions the fact that they sort of folded criminals and terrorists and outlaws in, and they themselves were criminals and terrorists and outlaws to begin with. Like the Imra sees it from the point that yeah, there are those elements, but there were a lot of displaced refugees and honest citizens, colonists who were just looking for a place to call home,
Right.
that were essentially had pretty good reason to be fighting against the Hell Knights.
And Twinkle will talk it up a lot like that. You know, he'll
Yeah,
he'll tell his side of the story. As for the whole, I want to hear about the war above planet Patel. Twinkle's going to make it very apparent that it was what the sacrifices that were made by those
yeah,
who are no longer with us that are the reason that the success was had in the first place. Just kind of a no nonsense like war is hell kind of
yeah.
thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I think Imra, like she listens with rapt attention, and is very like supportive of your point of view. Smetty mostly stays quiet. Occasionally, he'll point. Occasionally, you can see him look, and they do this sort of thing too. Like they're like every politician is a grifter in their own right, you know. So they're picking
Amen.
up they're picking up on the idea that you're pitching this in the way that you want it to be seen. But you know, two of them are going to side with their own natural leaning for,
Oh,
and
sure.
Smetty himself, you can see in his eyes that he's picking up on where you're maybe like over where you're like hard selling the sacrifices and stuff. Like you can see the wheel turning like, okay, so there were some sacrifices, but some of that was to be expected given the nature of what you guys were doing and what was happening. you know
Sure.
War is
there's
definitely hell.
it's hard to tell where he would vote on where he might vote on this. But he does seem to take you at the on a personal level as being not a horrible person. Whereas
Well, that's
Kirkesh
good.
seems suspicious of you. He seems like, well, you might be mixed up in some questionable things, but you seem like an okay person.
Right.
So Smetty's generally, um, he's sort of middle of the line. He's sort of no bullshit here in the way that he's reading.
Sure. And
Um,
yeah, and Twinkle's not, trying to sugarcoat any of it.
right? Yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah. And he probably he probably does that thing where he's like, so I do have a question for you.
well, of
I don't
course.
know if you'd know this or not, and certainly this is something that would be a bit of interest to the Republic, as it were. What are your thoughts on the aggressions of the Gitteron Authority?
Are those the
Okay.
hobgoblins?
Yep.
Okay.
What do you think about the Gitteron Authority and their influence on the government? More to the point, maybe a follow-up question here. I'm interested to know how you personally feel, but do you have an idea of what Patella's official stance on the Gitteron Authority is going to be?
Sorry. I'm listening. I'm just kind of like, does
Sorry,
Twinkle have a
Dave.
fucking clue? No.
Yeah. Well,
Because this is so, I don't think we exactly talked about this with Captain Zai before we left.
no, no. Yeah.
No.
I think
As far as
there,
the Gitaron Authority goes, I, as Captain Zai, don't know anything right now.
yep.
But
Well,
as Zafira, I think that we should definitely go talk to the Gitaron Authority, but not tell these people about that.
Oh,
because
sure.
they're the other ones that can let us go to that planet where we need to go dig for stuff with Sander.
Now, so general sentiment on that here in, um, shit. It's been a fucking night. I don't even remember what the name of the place we're on is. Vesk 7. No,
Nope,
that was a
No,
while
we're
ago.
we're
Fuck.
in
Yeah,
Uh,
the
God damn it.
you're in the Marixa
the
Republic,
Marixa
and you're on
Republic. We're on
Yes.
Marixa.
Okay.
exactly. You're on the capital planet of
General,
Marixa.
general sentiment is, fuck these people.
Yes, hobgoblins are bad. That's
Yeah,
their sentiment.
So,
yeah. The Gitteron Authority, like what you know of the situation, that they're contesting several systems that the Marixa Republic has, and they've been raiding a lot and attacking ships going in and out. In fact, they've closed the border. The Marixa Republic isn't even letting anybody go into the system that you need to go into because of the raiding and attacks at the moment.
Twinkle would say something to the effect of, the Gitteron Authority has made our lives difficult, just like they've made everybody else's lives difficult, and we'd like to see a resolution of that.
It was like, yeah, and I think Kirkesh is the one that speaks up. And what resolution would you be hoping for? And he sounds very suspicious.
Well, frankly, at this point, I'm not certain. You're the locals here. You know this situation far better than someone who's just arrived ever could. I'm curious what you think on the situation myself.
He kind of turns
Nice.
around and he kind of turns around and he looks at the other two and he goes, huh. He goes, who would have thought it? A politician among the pirates. And he kind of says that just with that, there is this, he says it, the way he says it, he's selling it like it's a joke, but you can tell there's a veneer of like distaste
Disdain.
underneath it.
Yeah.
Right.
Of disdain.
I as Chris am angry at this guy because I was not there to flip him off. All right.
Yeah.
And Twinkle won't. You know he won't.
Yeah.
No. You're a good man.
And
Simp, I think, is the proper name, but that's neither here nor
what is it?
there.
Synth? No, you're not a synth.
And he's like,
No,
I
that's
think,
not what I said.
but
Go
I
ahead.
do think I think he does answer your question. He goes, well, my thought process is, my thought on it is that the Senate has been stuck on this issue far too long, and they're only getting more aggressive. If we remain paralyzed with action, they're going to take the system from us wholesale.
Well, what's
And
the holdup?
he says, the Senate is paralyzed. And I think Smetty he probably pops in. He goes, it's a complicated situation. There's a number of us who are still hoping for a peaceful resolution, and there's a number of us calling for war. There are mixed opinions across the board how to handle it. It's, let's just say the debate's been going on for some time, and we haven't reached a resolution on how exactly to handle it. Personally, I'd like to see it come to an end in whatever way is expedient. The people are a little bit tired of the debate, and
Why can't you just? Oh, sorry.
we need for the trade and the archaeological digs to continue. Personally, I suggested a measure where I have written a measure that would share any archaeological information we find with the Gitteron Authority, considering that's their concern, or at least part of their concern. And you know, says, but I'm just one senator, and I fear there are too many people who are too impassioned one way or another for this to be resolved easily. I expect
Twinkle,
my
yeah.
resolution to get defeated, but we'll due diligence, we've got to try.
Twinkle suddenly hatches a plot to make Patella the go-between between these two worlds, and your issue is that you don't trust them to give you all the data. Your issue is that you're worried they won't hold the line and just let you do your thing. Great. Just put our own
Yeah.
people in there. No.
Yeah.
That's a story for a different time. A different universe with a different Twinkle. Let's see here. Well, and Twinkle would probably express this, hoping that resolution, a resolution is found and that all parties are properly compensated for whatever may happen. But as to the so you're afraid they're going to take it wholesale. What's keeping them from doing it right now?
Well,
Are
the
they
fact that we do have a Kirkesh is like, well, the fact that we do have a navy that protects our civilian ships,
Mm.
there's only so much we can do without a formal declaration of war. Our people's hands are there. The cap, the navy's hands are tied at the moment. And it's like, and there's and probably there's that discussion like Smetty's probably like, now you know that if we allow the military to be moving without civilian oversight and without proper resolutions and stuff, we invite the same kind of authoritarianism that the Gitteron Republic or Gitteron Authority uses. And
Oh
this is about the
yeah.
time, Twinkle, that you hear a familiar voice from across the room.
How
One you
familiar?
hadn't expected to. One that is
I know who it
hilariously familiar.
is.
Hilariously familiar,
I was
honestly.
gonna say I think I know. Go ahead.
I can't wait to see your faces here in a minute. Raphael, it's you, my dear boy. I haven't seen you in a very long time. And he,
A
and he
fortnight.
goes, and he kind of, you see Arturo Aramal the Third.
Yeah, that's what I figured it was.
Towards you,
I
and
just-
he's like, he's like, he goes, wait, I'm sorry, you're going by Glimmer Taylor now, and it's that thing where Arturo recognizes you, likes you, never gets your name right ever, never has, probably never will.
Never will.
He's like, oh, he goes, Smetty, I see you've met my former protege. He says, why I remember, and he kind of he does that thing where he kind of does the like real fake light punch at your shoulder. He goes, I remember when Glimmer Taylor here was just an intrepid intern, learning the ropes of archaeology, studying my works.
For a
Look at him
second
now,
there,
flying the starways as a captain of his own ship. I always knew you were destined for great things, my boy.
for a second there,
Fucker drunk.
Twinkle is absolutely terrified that
awesome.
this guy still thinks he's Raphael, and somehow he's going to have to explain to both parties what the situation is, and then he realized, oh yeah, Arturo is absolutely clueless. Never mind.
Well,
It's easy to explain. They know him.
Yeah, he's well, and it's funny because he's never called you by the same name twice either.
No.
Like he knows you, he knows who you are, he likes you, but he's never called you the same name twice. It's like he can't remember it. But it also there's also the possibility that he does it on purpose. You're not quite sure which.
Actually,
It
now's a
never-
great time to do a sense motive on that.
Okay.
Because Twinkle was too terrified to quiz him on it earlier.
It's a little bit of both. It's
Ah.
honestly a little bit of both.
He's playing the Professor Plum. Okay.
Yeah, but he's like, what exactly have? He says, I've heard a great deal about your exploits. He's like, it's good to see you. Says that old witch McClare isn't giving you a hard time. Or Bettina Clemlin, yes. Oh, she's here, you know, not McClare, Clemlin.
Uh-oh. You owe her a favor.
Do I? As in,
remember
does
you-
Twinkle owe her a favor, or just the Fire Shrike, and therefore Twinkle owe her a favor?
The secondary.
Okay.
like-
And what do I remember about her? Because I don't recognize the name from Adam.
Oh,
Bettina
she is
Clemlin,
the
the
Southern
governess
Belle.
of Yeah, the governess of Kroll. She works for the Mastodon Mining Company, and she's a direct subordinate of Janice McClare. But
Mm,
they don't get along. They don't like.
Yeah, she's
She
our
wants
friend.
McClare's spot.
oh, okay,
She
and
is
we're
by
more
no
than happy to
means.
help her with that if possible.
Yeah, she
Let
is
me
by
rephrase
no.
that.
Yeah,
She is not our friend. She is our ally only because she hates Clemlin as much as we do.
Oh, okay. Just,
Okay.
Claire.
just
Yeah,
making sure.
That's what I meant.
yeah. She she is a cold-hearted. She is a very cold-hearted, hard-nosed businesswoman, but and McClare's spot. Wants McClare's spot
And is willing
in the
to
company.
use McClare's enemies to her advantage.
Yes, very much so.
That sounds like someone who would know and deal with McClare.
He's
Mhm.
like, I'm. He says, come. He says, let us have a drink and discuss our grand adventures. You know, I went out to the Acadian system not that long ago, found a few interesting treasures. You know, there were some pre-gap civilizations there that had some very interesting cultural mores, at least from the evidence suggested by the ruins that we found. Unfortunately, we couldn't stay long. There seems to be a very dark and foreboding presence within the system. Most of my most of my team were, well, they lacked the stomach for the work so dangerous and gave them the willies, quite frankly.
What system was that again? Out of character. I'm trying to
The
find a pen.
Acadian system.
That's not where we need to go, is it?
Yes, it's one of the places you guys were needing to
Oh,
go or
Well, I
thinking
was
you
gonna
needed
say
to go.
good.
dark and foreboding. That kind of sounds right up our alley.
Yeah.
Yeah. Captain, you may want to see. I think this at you, so I don't have to say with an accent. Captain, you may think about asking him for his files, well, from when he was there.
Oh yeah, he's going to the Acadian system, huh? I'd heard a little bit's going on there, but apparently you have first-hand knowledge.
Oh well, we got a couple of we did survey a couple of the planets there. There's some rather interesting data. There's a bit of a um well, there are some strange anomalous readings there, both
Hmm.
magical, temporal, dimensional. There was a great deal of, well, let's just say our diviners and augurs, our mystics, were a bit nervous, couldn't get out of the system fast enough. They didn't even want to stay when we got there but I told them we weren't leaving without at least a little bit of information.
Hmm. I'm willing to make you a deal, Arturo.
A deal?
I would be interested to look at those scans, as it's somewhere I'm potentially headed in the near future. In return, I would love for you to come aboard and look at our ship, the Tempest.
Well, I would be,
Fuck yeah,
it would be,
Twinkle, I love you.
it would be grand to see your ship. He
We
says,
have an entire bay dedicated to sensory arrays, both geological and mystical.
most of my most relevant hard data is back on Glumpucket. I do have a few notes, however, here and there that would allow you to take a bit of a perusal through. I would be very interested to see what kind of sensor arrays you have, what kind of ship you have. If you don't mind stopping off at Glumpucket at some point, I'm sure I could give you a bit better data, but I'm willing to drop by your landing pad wherever it is, and have a great look at this new ship of yours.
Yeah, he would gladly give him the bay number. And, the notes will have to do for now. But next time
Xander,
I'm on Glumpucket, bring those notes and drinks are on me.
Xander, by the way, give me a culture check here, because there's a real good chance you recognize our Aramal as well. Oh yeah, oh yeah, you know exactly who Arturo Aramal the Third is. He comes from a family. His the first and the second were incredibly famous. In fact, The second was the one who was the first person who discovered the Aramol system, which is named for Arturo Aramol. This is the third in the line. He's incredibly famous. All three of them are both high end. They're venture capitalists essentially. They are very successful businessmen, but they're also very well known as adventurers as well. Archaeologists, scientists, scholars. They have a very Indiana Jones sort of thing going on. Like they are like Twinkle. You've seen hints of what he can do, like technology wise, and his knowledge of like things. He's when you've talked about things in the past, he's
Oh
shown
yeah.
himself to have some cultural or historical knowledge above and beyond what most people would.
When he
He's
called it an
yeah
internship, it very much was. Don't
yeah
get him wrong, Twinkle wasn't there specifically for that, but he did learn quite a bit.
oh yeah and like this is the same kind of stuff that Twinkle does, but the Aramol family is extraordinarily famous for it.
Yeah, I might actually remember organizing books back at the library I used to work at for about the family.
Yeah.
There was probably several books on the history and their coming up of the system. Yeah, I remember a couple of those books.
Yeah. So to you, this is meeting like scholar celebrity. Celebrity scholar.
And Twinkle would definitely introduce you because, hey, creating that web, and so. Oh, Arturo, I have met quite the interesting figure I think you might be interested in. This,
Ah, do tell.
this kind of, pointing him over. Xander, this is
Ah,
Arturo Aramal III. My one-time mentor, and, well, now, is it appropriate to call me a colleague of yours?
I think you probably earned that at least in bravery.
You're the one with the system. Oh, yeah. I've read several books on you.
He
Your family.
reaches.
Oh,
Yeah, he
you
reaches
are
out his
awesome.
hand.
I graciously, excitedly shake his hand like, oh, sweet.
It is a pleasure to meet you, Xander. He says, you're familiar with my family's works, which seems a bit funny considering how famous they are, at least in your circles, the scholarly circles.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. Several books I've read about the coming up of your family and the things that you've done, that your family's done, and where you've gone. And, oh, it's been years since I read that, but that stuff's still prominent and important within my brain. Um, yeah,
Arturo, Xander is my head of research and my science officer.
so he's your intern then, eh?
Well, I wouldn't call it an internship so much as a mutual collaboration. I couldn't
Ah,
teach much to Xander if I tried, but he's invaluable on my crew.
he winks he probably winked when he said, "Oh, he's your intern."
Yeah.
You know, he's for what it's worth, he's very much that kind of charming guy who like sort of owns the room. And as you're kind of standing here, like, and maybe like Arturo like engages Xander and you on some esoteric topic about culture and history, like he's probably talking to you about the Kish Empire or
Oh,
something
yes.
and
Yeah.
whatnot. But you looking through the room, kind of getting a chance to look at the room, see a few other people that look like they are that are either are important or look sort of out of place.
Okay.
First of all, you see um, Special Agent Ristel Meffel.
Oh,
He's
fuck.
not in uniform. He's dressed for the occasion, but
But
he's
is he
here.
working, or is he here, or is he playing? I'm curious.
Well,
He's working always.
yeah, considering his job has to do with like ferreting out spies, you never know.
Who's he talking to,
Uh,
if he's talking to anyone?
he actually appears to be talking to a human who looks really annoyed to be talking to him. Uh,
Oh,
who is he's and
one of
you
those. Yeah.
recognize you recognize the guy he's talking to probably from whatever information Vesa gave you. The guy he's talking to is the
Oh,
Paperleaf Tea Trading Company's, regional director in the Marixa Republic, Tomic Frickson.
poor
You
guy.
also see Orgo Skull Smasher here. Like he's a late arrival. He's
Okay.
dressed, he's dressed well enough. It's very clear that he doesn't typically dress this way. Um,
I just didn't
he
think he'd
doesn't
want to
look
come to a
terribly
function like this.
he doesn't look terribly comfortable in it. And there is
So what
also a
brings him?
hobgoblin here. Um,
Ah,
although the hobgoblin, like he's kind of standing over by the punch, or like he's standing over by the punch bowl, talking to a couple of what look like maybe senators. Actually, you know what? He's probably um, he's probably over there by Tomic Frickson. Like it looks like Special Agent Meffel interrupted a conversation between the two of them, and the
that sounds like
hobgoblin
him.
looks kind of pissed off after a couple of minutes, and flips him off, and then walks away and leaves the party, and leaves the party as he goes.
Arturo, I don't mean to be rude, but do you recognize those characters over there?
He's like, are you pointing at Agent Meffel?
Methel and Tomic, yeah.
I
Oh,
don't think
very
he's
much
actually
so.
pointing.
But
Yeah,
not
he's
not
like,
pointing, but yeah.
right, motioning or nodding to or looking in. He's
Right.
like, oh yes, very much so. Special Agent Ristal Meffel. Looking for spies, I believe. He's rather pervasive in his efforts. Seems to have a very, very deep dislike for the Paperleaf Tea Trading Company, which brings me to the other one Tomic Frickson, the regional director for the Paperleaf Tea Trading Company.
That's a
They've
name I'm hearing a lot.
they do have rather good tea. They have some rather exotic blends you won't find from any other supplier.
That I have heard.
He
Here you
says,
have to pay through the nose for some of it, though.
you want quality, then you pay for quality.
I love the
Although their
double talk
prices are,
here.
he's like, although there is although there is a, God damn it, I lost my train of thought. It's like, although there, if you were to go to anyone else for the brands that they can get, the few people who can get some of their higher end brands will charge you a lot more for it.
So it's better to go straight to the source, is what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, if you're going to get, there are certain blends of tea that if you're getting them from anywhere, they pass Paperleaf Tea Traders' hands, whether you bought it from them or bought it from one of their competitors who had to buy it from them.
Hmm.
They have a number of exclusive contracts. Frickson himself
Interesting.
is a nice guy. He's a We've been talking about setting up some deals with them on Glumpucket. I have yet to come to terms on exactly what that will mean, but I'm certain we'll work out some sort of arrangement.
Hmm. Well, I hope that goes successfully. You can't find tea like that just anywhere.
Oh no, by no means. This is
I love the fucking double talk. It makes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
here's the motherfucking tea.
Well, of course, you can't get tea like that just anywhere.
Yeah. He's like,
Crystal
It-
methyl? No. No. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. I'm not judging, but okay. No, so
the
well, perhaps
yeah, she,
you could introduce us with to Tomic. I've actually been needing someone in that, well, in that field.
Let's just go over and talk to him. That'd be fun.
Yeah,
Just
he's like, "Oh, I'd be delighted to introduce you." And he kind of, and he's like, he starts heading directly in that direction.
Okay, yeah, we'll follow. Probably look at Xander and say, if you would keep an eye on Ristel, see what he does after we butt in on his conversation.
Yeah, there's a moment where like, and when you walk up, Arturo is just like, "Ah, Tomek, it's good to see you." And and Tomek they both, both Meffel and Tomek turn around, and and as soon as Meffel turns around, Arturo goes, "And you as well, Mr. Meffel." He says, "There, he says, Mr. Tomek Frickson, I'd like you to meet Glimmer Taylor. He's my former intern, and now a captain in his own right, and a very good one at that, from my understanding."
Oh, you're gonna
May
make
I?
me blush, Arturo.
He's like, and Tomek looks over and he says, eh. He says, "Glimmer," and he reaches his hand
I.
out.
Who is that?
It's Tomek
Oh, okay.
Frickson.
Please call me Twinkle.
Ah, Twinkle. He's like, he's like, he goes, Twinkle, what can I do for you?
Is is Ristel still here?
Yeah, he's still here. He seems to be paying close attention.
Oh yeah, I figured. Uh. Shit. This is not actually what I wanted to do. I didn't want Ristel to know that we had been talking with him as to not give reason. Let's see. Oh god. Shall we bluff our way out of this? Diplomacy our way out of this? Probably.
Which is
talk.
better, your bluff or your diplomacy?
let's bluff out. That works for me.
I mean, doesn't matter to me. Bluff, diplomacy, it's both the same.
Yeah,
And it's
whichever
up
one
to
Same
you
here.
use.
Whatever you use, I will attempt to buff you with.
Well, which is better for you?
I have the same for either as well.
Okay. So we're gonna try and diplomacy our way out of this, making it sound like it's nothing. We're talking about nothing. If Ristel, if Tomek is worth his salt, then he'll double talk along, and that's a natural 20.
Oh, yeah.
And you got my +2, so
That's
Yeah,
only a 40.
I think as you guys, I think Ristel probably stands there and kind of like is a very like a more mostly passive like member of the conversation for several minutes until he eventually kind of until he kind of like just says makes his exit. He kind of looks over at Aramol and looks at he's like, and the rest of you, and he says, "If you'll excuse me, I have a hobgoblin to follow." And he says, there can't be too careful." And he kind of, and he takes his leave.
Wait until he's well out of earshot and say, "Looks like you two are
Hi,
having..."
dude.
Xander. Never
Yeah,
change.
Yeah, he smiles and waves back at you as you walk.
That's good, Xander. Tomek, it looked like you were having a lovely conversation with Mr. Meffel. Sorry, is it Inspector Meffel or?
You know what?
Commandant.
I would call him asshole Meffel, but that's just me.
Then you and I are in agreement on one thing, sir.
And
I
he
was
kind
about
of,
to call him dipshit, but hey, that works too.
Oh, he's too smart to be a dipshit.
he goes, he's been on my, he's been on my ass for, well, ever since he showed up here.
He certainly
He-
hasn't painted you with, well, good colors as of late, let's just say. I was
Aw.
actually specifically warned not to talk to you.
Yeah, he does that. He thinks there's something. He thinks there's something funny going on with us. He's investigated at least a half a dozen of my workers. He's got cases pending against two or three of them. Nothing
Mm.
like what he's looking for. He's just trying to find he's just finding whatever petty things he can get to throw him at the wall in hopes that he can get somebody to
Oh.
say something, I guess. I don't know.
Well, you know what
Yeah,
they say, when you need tea, look for the tea trader.
yeah, well,
Oof.
yeah,
That's
more or
funny.
less. Mm. He goes, yeah, well, more or less. It's kind of like, so, I'm guessing you have some business with you didn't want to discuss in front of Agent Meffel.
Say, Captain, don't you have a hollow message that Besa can't do because she's not here tonight?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, play the hollow message for him.
Yeah, he watches it, he goes, huh, Vesa, huh? Yeah, went to a couple of functions with her, official functions.
Uh,
Eh, seemed to be the life of a party. It got me out of a couple of awkward social situations. I hate dealing with. Says truth to be told, I hate these functions. Charity events, balls, anything where you got to wear a suit and tie, not my kind of thing. But I'm here because I'm an official representative, just like I was when I met her. She got me out of some trouble, some social blunders. I owe her one. So,
She's a good source of, well, I wouldn't call her. I wouldn't say. Never mind. Twinkle was about to say, well, she's a laugh, but realized that might be slightly impolite to her.
yeah.
That being said, yeah, he wouldn't hesitate. Twinkle would probably just explain, we're here because we were trying to access the library for this, for that, and all of these pitfalls we've gone in our way. We were told that you might be able to help, or at the very least provide information.
With the library? No, but with the Marixa Republic, yeah, I can probably give you a bit of information, probably give you intelligence on that. Eh, he says, and he kind of chuckles at that. He says, look who I'm talking to. I'm talking to scholars. How about I rephrase that? I can give you a bit of information about the Marixa Republic and doings here. Is there anything specific you need to know?
Shit, what were we going to ask him? I've got a page full of notes and no correlation between half of them. Mahala, help me here.
It's, it's 11 o'clock. Would you like to ask those questions next week?
That would be awesome.
yes.
That way you can collect your thoughts.
Yes, please.
Awesome. Good stuff. We are definitely good. Then next week, I know what's going on with Twinkle, at least some of it anyway.
The
And
important
Okay.
stuff.
it is 11 o'clock, and I think that means that's time to start sending me your Player's
Mhm.
Choice Awards and giving me
Suppose.
and start doing sign-offs. And I think let's start with Xander. Let's start with
He's the
Psychopath.
best.
Sorry, I was contemplating. Yeah, Scott, whatever. I don't know, pick a name. So, playing Xander a little bit. I don't know. Not very good with party things. Apparently, my brain was all like, how do we do parties? I don't know. My brain went sideways for a minute. My bad. It happens. Let's see. This is Monday. So Wednesday we got Hinch to Minch where I play Knight, who is happy to be back on Earth because space is weird to him and he doesn't like it, and he had to spend so much time being visible that he will now spend the next week being invisible at all times to make up for it. Just saying. Um, okay, so every other Thursday, and I don't recall which Thursday is next, but I'm in the Fast Cars Clear Gems as Mikey, which we're going to New York. I don't know what I'm doing in New York.
Syndicate, New York. So it's not the cool New York. It's just a town in the state of New York.
It's one of those things like,
works.
wait, New York has other cities besides New York?
Yeah, right.
It's not just one big literal city state?
Oh yeah. And that's gonna be this Thursday, by the way, Xander.
You know, you got Albany and Buffalo and a couple of Syracuse.
They're not really places, are they?
Okay, so
Not really.
This got
How
it.
rude of me.
All right, back in. Then on Friday, now I'm in Ballad and Menagerie with Chess, and this is the problem with being in two places in two different games that are the same place, because Chess is also on the Merix Republic, and she's talked to a couple of these people that now they have talked to, and it's hard to keep it straight in my own personal head that Xander doesn't know this. Now I got to go back to Chess and be like, okay, Chess doesn't know what Xander knows. What? It's just confusing. But Chess is there trying to incorporate trade relations with people. It'd be kind of fun. Okay. Then every other Saturday, we got the Bitter Ends, which is the apocalypse world where I play Castiel. And for some reason, my brain just went completely blank, and I have no idea what we did last Saturday. So, my bad. I was being a dad. That's all I remember.
You punched Greasy in his stomach that had a bloody hole in it and made him better.
Yeah.
I got him to go stop drinking for 2 days.
Yeah, it didn't stop any of his other hounding of substances.
One step at a time. We're working there closely.
Remember a generic famous cast of Jackass was there?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, those retards.
The fuck brigade,
yeah.
yeah.
The fuck brigade. All right, so.
Yeah, so Cass is being a daddy to Greasy and trying to get him on a better path. Not, hey, one step. That's all we need. Maybe. We'll see. Then on Sunday in Cosmos, I play Fagara. And Fagara got to build a thing, dug up the ground, worked with some other dude to get water into the garden, and it was cool. Then he got bored and he's like, okay, let's go to this city and shoot. We went into somebody's house and then we shot things. So I had 1 hit point, so it was kind of fun. Until the chain lightning happened, and that was cool. Then we're back to Monday, so that's everything.
Awesome. I still need players' choice votes from Psychopathic, from the captain, and from
did I not
the
send
other,
it? Damn it.
and from the other captain, from Twinkle as well. And let's go to. Speaking of, let's go to Twinkle next.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cyrus Smith, and today you caught me playing Twinkle Bailey, the isekai whose job is now to be the so-called diplomat among pirates, and I mean, only because he has to be. He'll admit, yes, I'm the one who speaks for the crew because, well, kind of have to. But, yeah.
Twinkle is the Lorax. He's just the right size.
I speak for these people, and actually, I just don't want to be here right now. But I will speak anyways. I'd rather be doing what Arturo's doing, because that sounds cool as fuck. But the best I can do is go, somewhere he's already been to clean up his mess. Oh well.
No. And we have the ship to do it. Hooray!
Not if we get attacked by, space monsters or Langoliers.
Yeah.
I'm fully expecting Langoliers at some point now.
I was gonna say,
You're welcome,
Captain,
Jesta.
just so you know, Zafira thinks she can handle hobgoblin negotiation.
Can she, though? She's got the temperament for it, but can she follow through?
I think she can. And if the Marixa isn't going to is going to sanction us, let's see if the hobgoblins will trade with us.
You want to make
And if the
enemies like
hobgoblins will
that?
trade with us,
You
we
want
can
to
also
piss...
go to the black site.
If you want to piss off the Marixa like that, you are a braver person than I.
I think we should definitely be sneaky.
Hmm.
But anyway, we can talk about this later. Go ahead, sir.
You can also catch me on, Wednesdays, where I am playing Acer, the telepathic sniper, who is probably going to tear this town apart until she finds her little girl. Computer, I know you're listening. You done fucked up. You took the little girl, and now your city is probably going to go up in flames. Haven't you noticed I have a propensity for that?
God.
As a player, as a dungeon master. Anyways, you can also find me on Thursday, where this week is Fast Cars Clear Gems, and
Yes.
I am playing Joker, the whacked out psychopath that, scared a hardened gang thug. Well, I'm just gonna call her the mama of her own swamp gang.
Yeah.
And if you know that you've done something right or very wrong if you can get her to get on the phone and say, you need to get down here right now because Joker's about to do something. Either great or horribly bad.
God.
So, yeah. I never said I was a nice person. You can also find me on Sunday where I am running Tales from the Cosmos, where our band of misfits, well, let's see here. They did end up getting attacked by a horde of zombies, and then they all sat down for story time. What else happened? Oh, they started working on a conservatory. In the middle of in a castle with minimal lighting. Said castle also is under perpetual moonlight, so not sure how that's gonna work. But hey, we'll figure it out, right?
That's the next thing after the water.
Yeah.
We got the
maybe
water
maybe
fixed. Now we got to get the
maybe
lights.
maybe you'll find some sort of like sunlight spell or something. I'll figure it out. You'll figure it. You'll figure it out. Tell me what you want.
Really, really want.
So that's it for me.
Alrighty. Awesome. Let's go to Shabbat.
Hello, I'm Brian. I played Shaba Young tonight. Found out who attacked her good old friend Zared, and now she gets to flog her. This is going to be bad or it's going to be good. I don't know. We'll figure it out next week. But does Shaba go back to some old ways, or does she like really take on the serious form as a captain? Yeah, we'll figure it out. Anyway, Sundays. Well, I was there for Cosmos, but I didn't have the character ready for where they were in the world, so I worked on that. So I had a good laugh at listening to these guys. I tell you, they get their role playing down pat at times. They'll be ready next week. We'll see. Uh, yeah, amongst other things. And next week, a week from Tuesday, we'll be starting a new Tuesday game in Numenera. It's a lovely game set 1 billion years in the future of Earth after the 8th apocalypse. That's right, 8 apocalypse happened. Humanity is still around. So
Oh my god, where are
come
the
and see what that's
cockroaches?
like. They're probably working in the shop next door. There's humans, there's mutants, there's aliens, there's extra dimensional beings. You can travel to the moon because for some reason they actually terraformed it.
That sounds...
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Though this is humanity coming out of another apocalypse. Go figure. I think it's a running theme around here.
Right?
Kind of.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, tune in next week, not this Tuesday, next Tuesday. That's when we're doing our session 0. We'll talk more of the game and do character creation. Anyway, that's it for me.
Awesome. Then from there, it goes to the Commodore, and I
Ah,
will
good.
be right back while you guys do that because I'll be.
Do that, sir. Tonight you saw me play the Commodore, aka Captain's Eye. That's a 6'4" assassin, which means I have forearms and I kind of look like Goro. Monday night is my favorite night of the week. And we've been doing this for so long. Zai is my baby.
Over
and I
3
love him.
years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Channel's been
As
around
far
for
as this goes,
7.
I've been playing since I was like 20 years old, and this is the longest campaign I've ever been in, where we are consistent and we always do our shit. We have a lot of fun. We do get out of character, but whatever. More importantly, my friend Purple Codex and my friend Amy Gedden both have TeePublics, and they sell awesome T-shirts,
And Etsy.
tapestries, and Etsy.
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
Amy Gedden has Etsy.
Mhm.
Let's see what else. But they have epic shit. They have truly epic shit, and you guys should check it out. It is so epic that someone will help me now by taking over this commercial.
You want this one, Gunner, or
Fine.
me?
Oh shit, I hadn't thought about it.
If you don't have anything, we can make Xander do it.
No, hello. My name is Jasper, and I have been asked from Tales from the Cosmos to come talk to you about Purple Codex merchandise and as well as Amy Gedden merchandise. I realized yesterday, after getting the shit kicked out of me for leading a group into extreme danger, that even though it lacked ethics, it was still fucking epic. And for that, I am going to be buying some Purple Codex merchandise and some Amigadon merchandise. Because twice the epic, twice the lack of ethic. I think that is 2 for 1 is a good price, yes?
He's face.
I think that's it.
And now on to Purple Codex.
Hello, I'm Purple. I was multitasking tonight. I made chicken and peppers and whatever. It was amazing. It was a burrito, and it was amazing. And now I just want to go lay down and be in a food coma. But anyway, so yeah, Purple had a hard time keeping her mouth shut tonight. That is, I can explain. Uh, I have stopped taking my meds.
Mm.
I do not feel that they're healthy for me, as opposed to other forms of medication I could be doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So my anxiety disorder, my depression, my insomnia, my bipolar, all of this is just not sure what to do. So I'm just riding it until it settles down. So I've been manic for like 2 days. But at least
You're
it's
doing
like a
great.
manic high and not a manic low.
There you
Yeah.
go.
So yeah. So that's yeah. So my behavior might be a little crazy, and I'm sorry. um, I did change my microphone from my snowball to my headset microphone because it flips down and it flips up to mute, and it's just easier to mute it when it's not my turn, so I don't accidentally say some shit when I'm talking to somebody else or I'm doing other thing. You don't hear me doing shit, so
Right. No chopping stuff up for like 10 minutes.
it is a much worse microphone, but it's just easier to deal with because I can every time I try to put a key in to mute something or do something in Discord's like, "Oh, that's cute." No, we're not doing that. So, Discord doesn't like me, but whatever. I am I don't know if I'll be moving in the next couple months, but I will keep you guys updated.
Okay.
Because sadly I didn't get my stimulus that I should have got,
Ooh.
and I can't pay my rent. So,
Yeah.
so that's my sad news that I'm dealing with no meds. Yeah, shit happens. It's fine. I'll figure it out. But I have been streaming more, a little more often, and hopefully that increases. Uh, Walmart's is still a pain in my ass because they changed my availability to having Mondays and Tuesdays off, and it's been going good for a couple weeks. And then of course they have me scheduled 2 to 9 tomorrow, and that's not happening because I talked to my manager a couple days ago, and I was like, hey, so they have me scheduled on Tuesday. She's like, oh, okay, I'll take care of it. And I'm still scheduled, so she didn't take care of it. She probably forgot. But I'm not going in, so they're gonna be like, well, now you have 5 points to get it. I'm gonna be like, you better take that shit off because
I was told it was gonna be handled.
exactly. No, anyway. But that's all I got today.
Awesome. And
Awesome.
then we go on to win 5, get 1 free then.
Hello, everybody. This is Mike, also known as Win 5, Get 1 Free, and you have caught me playing Paralictor or ex-Paralictor Burnward, depending on the day you ask him. He broke his hand today, getting pissed off.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, he is very upsetty because he has kind of a life goal in this place that he has been ordered by the person who he had literally just sworn fealty to, who said, no, don't do that. And then he went, hey, you could release me from my fealty. And then he went, no, let's not do that. And it's like, God damn it. Burnward is lawful and will stick to his contracts. God damn it. But no.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, no, at least that should tell you if we had like a fucking bitter ends like Apocalypse World style system where it was like, who learned something new about Burnward? I think the captain would have learned, wow, this dude's serious about when he like commits to something.
Understandably, yeah.
Yeah, but regardless, you can also catch me on Thursdays where this week I'm going to be running Fast Cars Clear Gyms. They're going to Syndicate, New York. Still haven't done my research. I'm going to say that until Thursday when 5 minutes before the session I look up a street map of the city. But no. So moving from their fictional town in Florida all the way up to Syndicate, New York to save a child who's under watch from a group of people who I am not going to tell you who they are yet because, oh boy.
It's spicy.
I'm excited to see what you guys find out about it. And of course, the week after that on Thursday, alternating Thursdays for those of you who aren't 100% following me right now, is going to be actually an episode. I was very tired and had a bad time. We were missing somebody, and now I figure out how to figure out if we missed somebody. Finally, it's back by unpopular demand, Project Severovo. Very excited. It's going to be weirder. It's going to be stranger. It's going to have even more crazy batshit crazy shit going on. So, come and show up for that. You can also catch me on Saturdays where I play Greasy
Host of KRUST 6.66 The Crust, the hottest shit that floated to the top of the bathtub.
And also now head of a group known as the Fuck Brigade. Greasy promised to not drink for 2 days. That's a new fucking record for him. So, he's gonna be like MF Doom's vomit spit by the end of this. Yo, where's the beer at? But yeah, he's got a whole bunch of just fucking losers following him, which is awesome. It fits his character so good. He's like Six String Samurai, but instead of being Buddy Holly, he's just fucking like Jeff Bridges the dude, with the actual friends from Big Lebowski. Because let's be real, both Walter and Donnie were kind of fucking losers. So that's kind of the crowd that he attracts. But yeah. If you're currently watching on Twitch, thank you so much. We love you. But also, come check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/Paradise Theater. And if you are currently watching on YouTube, hey, we also love you too, because you are fantastic. But you should also check us out on Twitch, catch us live, where we are actually trying to do community interaction. I didn't see any comments today, but I was watching it the whole time. At twitch.tv/Pair_O_Dice_Theater. And if you like the exciting, fast-paced world of cocaine, hookers, and scheduling, you also happen to be a big fan of community interaction. Recently, I got a response from both Zolon the Witch and that one. So there's two Twitch accounts. There's a fucking Lich King, and then there's a Dwarven Paladin, and they both have fake Twitter beef, which is fucking hilarious to me. I got responses from both of them in one day. So if you want to see what caused responses from them, check us out. Oh, and also you want to see some memes. Check us out at Pear Theater. My name is Mike. Catch my music at soundcloud.com. Search for Mike Burley, Burley, and that is me.
That brings it back to me. And I've got, first, let's get some bookkeeping out of the way. Everybody give yourself 2,500 points.
Oh, nice.
You'll notice I'm tinkering with the experience point totals per session. I haven't done it in a while. If it gets a little inconsistent, I'm sorry. I'm trying to balance.
You said how many? Sorry.
2,500.
Oh, okay. That works.
And tonight's Player's Choice Award goes to Twinkle.
Yay!
Captain, thank you guys.
Diplomat Captain Twinkle for the win today. Give yourself an extra 900 experience points.
Yes.
And there is that. With that said, hold on, let me do this right. With that said, I am the Just a King Zerat. You can catch me here on Monday nights for the Fire Shrike, my favorite group of space pirates, space terrorists, and never-do-wells. You can catch me here on the alternating Thursdays for Fast Cars, Clear Gems, where I play Khan, whose motto is never commit a crime that you don't plan on framing somebody else for. You can also catch me here on Friday nights for the Ballad of the Menagerie, which appears to be expanding to some extent, and we are kind of getting some wheels under us there. And then every other Saturday for the Bitter Ends, our Wave World sessions, it is a world of water. It is a world of giant squids. It is a world of completely, totally trashed out losers who kick each other in the balls, run themselves into trees, hit each other with trash cans, drink, and generally cheer whenever anybody, including themselves, gets punched, kicked, or somehow physically hurt and or violated. They are literally the worst people left in the apocalypse. They're not even useful for anything really, other than just being loud and obnoxious. And I have been teasing out all this weekend a special announcement to be made tonight at the end of the night. And the special announcement is this and thus. I will be coming to Tales from the Cosmos. That's right. My schedule changed, therefore my ability to be in certain games and not be in other certain games changed. And hey, if I'm going to be off on Sundays, I might as well be in Tales of Cosmos, playing some crazy shit with everybody else, because I gotta tell you, competitive shitting kind of sold it. That is one of the most bizarre things I've ever heard anybody say that they did during a game session. Literally made me stop and go, "What are you guys doing?"
Hey,
Um,
what adventure path are we playing? I don't
right?
think we're playing one, right?
No.
What? Oh, for Fire Shrike?
Yeah.
No, this is all homebrew campaign. This
What? There's a
campaign.
chat person asking. That's why.
No,
No, that's fine.
I'm fully willing to answer the question.
Okay.
This campaign is what it is because of what the players and the characters have done throughout the course of the time the campaign has shaped and molded it. Names like Janice McClare are important because, well, they made them important by their interactions
Uh,
with these various people.
And
Names,
a side note,
yes,
generally most of the campaigns on this channel are all homebrew. So when
yeah,
you come here, you might be able to ask questions about like, oh, how would you run this thing? Because most of us have run a lot of stuff. But if you're looking for original content, this is a great place to be.
yeah. You get unique and and original takes on every story that everybody. Um,
Mm.
we put our own special spin on everything, and we do use imaginations to create completely customized things. There are a number of discussions I have with each and every one of my players all the time about their characters, what direction they think they want their characters to go in, what kinds of themes they want to work with, what kinds of things that there's our philosophy is it truly is a cooperative effort. There's the story I'm telling, and then there's the story that Win Five Get One Free is telling with his characters. The story that we're telling that Brian's telling with Shaba, so on and so forth. So whenever you tune in, there there's going to be some interesting different takes. And if you tune into the Ballad of the Menagerie, it's set in the same universe as the Fire Strike, and so some of the same kinds of characters and NPCs may pop up in both things. I did have a great bit where there was a great bit for tonight that we'll have to wait until next week, referencing some stuff in the ballad. But I constantly reference the Fire Strike and the Ballad of the Menagerie, and going to be references coming through for the ballad here. So yeah, no adventure path. Not that I'm totally against running them. I just don't do that on the channel. Well, I've never done it on the channel, and I don't have plans to immediately. But I am aware of the Starfinder adventure paths. I've looked through a few of them, at least the content in the back, um, and what have you. They are well written and well designed. So
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Paizo does know
yeah.
how to put together a good thing, or
yep,
Pazio, or what.
yeah,
Yeah, Paizo. However you say it.
Yeah.
they know how to put together a pretty good adventure path. So um, if you're
Yeah.
interested, I'd recommend them.
Yeah, I highly recommend Starfinder. I have all the books and I'm a cheapskate.
So, um, but do we have any further questions? I need to.
Nope. We're good.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Nope.
Thanks,
Nobody?
guy
No.
or
All
gal.
right.
Thank you
Thank
for
you
the
for the
question.
question. Yeah, so we love it when people ask questions, and we're more than happy to answer them.
Yeah, I
But with
he's
that
like
said,
adventure path, and I was like,
no, yeah, no, you're good. I'm totally cool with answering the question. But with that said, I do believe that's all we've got. Tune in, tune in. Well, to all of our shows, but tune in Friday for some interesting additions to the Ballad of the Menagerie, and tune in next Monday to see what questions Twinkle asks his new contact, and what kinds of craziness goes down from here. Um,
Right.
and with that said, let's
Right.
just get an R.I.P. Fern and get out of here.
R.I.P.
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 Fern.
Fern.